Hello, my name is Andrew and I want to share my thoughts about why Wargaming fears players and stagnates. Let's jump straight to the conclusion, and after that I will explain, or at least try to explain, why it is what it is. Conclusion. Wargaming is poisoned with stagnation because of fear of the players, which leads to inability to effectively implement changes to the game. For the explanation, we need to dive a bit into the history of our beloved game. One of top management executives, about 10 years ago, maybe a bit more, maybe a bit less, I definitely remember it was a long time ago. He said we were expecting around 35,000 active players in World of Tanks, and we were wrong. To clarify this, at the peak, World of Tanks managed to climb above 1 million users simultaneously and holds Guinness World Record for the most online players on one MMO server, and it was achieved on January 21 in year 2013, where 190,541 players were online at once on the RU2 server. Astonishing number. While the game was quickly gaining users, Wargaming felt much more courage, in my opinion, and definitely understood importance of developing the game further. Yeah, we can talk about some errors or bad decision or severity of these decisions that Wargaming made with the game. Anyway, in the time, my main point is that at the time the game was quickly advancing. New tanks, new maps. I'm not talking about the quality, I'm talking about the quantity on content, personal missions, clan activities, events, and so on and so on and so on. And here we cannot skip for the unseen improvements, like improved code base, architecture, DevOps, patch schedule, and so on and so on and so on. These changes are also important, but like they cannot be seen directly by the player. Now came February 24 of year 2022, when Russia invaded Ukraine, which led Wargaming selling their operations on the RU region to Leicester Studios and focusing on the other regions. That was a very important and the right step to do. Don't forget that Wargaming is based in the European Union with the headquarters in Cyprus, Nicosia. So it's a right way to do. Also, sanctions, regulations, and so on and so on. Wargaming must abide to internal European Union's regulations. But from the company standpoint, it caused massive decline in active players. And you should know that RU cluster was the biggest in player count compared to every other cluster like EU, NA, or Asia ones. Thus came massive decline in profits. In response to that, Wargaming became extremely afraid to make any changes to the game in attempt to keep existing players, not to scare them off, and keep the cash flow. On top of that, Wargaming involvement in some, is for my opinion, highly questionable projects like Project Civil, also known as Project Cold War, also tank game. It's kinda strange. And this Project Cold War, like, it makes my eyes simply bleed of saturated hues, strobes and shaking. And recent Steel Hunters, another attempt to make slow-paced live service session shooter with bloated interface. It's like my opinion. On the other hand, like, I don't want this game to fail, and I want that I wish them luck and to succeed. Project Cold War and Steel Hunters and maybe some secret and unannounced projects, it's reasonable to assume that they drain companies' resources. And trying not to put all of the eggs in one basket is a good move from the company standpoint, but taking into account that nor World of Warplanes or World of Warships did not perform anywhere near to the success of the original game, for me it looks like a highly questionable strategy to stray so far away from experience you have. But on the other hand, you will never know if you won't try. So for me, these two projects, Cold War and Steel Hunters, they kinda have pros and cons. On contrary, we have teaser of some September 2025 activity, where some good news to the main game should come. At least I am expecting so. And this alone shows that even now Wargaming tries to overcome the fear of making something new. But also this September 2025 controllers gives some answers about the stagnation of the game, simply because resources are used to make a big scope of the new features, which we can expect in September, but still it feels kinda strange for me. Like, World of Tanks never undergo revolutionary changes. Every change was evolutionary. Maybe with one exception of patch 1.0, where Wargaming implemented a whole new graphics engine, a complete overhaul of the maps for the new graphics, new physics, and so on and so on. Next point is the communication. How the hell players can have such a void comparable with Boots' void in size? But I'm sorry, Wargaming, this is one of the biggest failures you can have and make. We don't know anything about your vision right now, and to be honest, never knew almost nothing. Like, once a month mechanically scripted, maybe a generated script video was overview, like what monthly with Commander AF trying her best to bring at least a teardrop of emotions and engagement into the video. This new guy in the latest video, he's not a new guy, he's a social marketing team leader who tries to fill up the same space, but I don't know who wrote such scripts. I hope not the same person with extensive mobile game developer experience. I don't believe this will work in such a way, such type of communications. We as players do not have any engagement with people responsible for the game advances. Like, look at the recent or not so recent success stories. Obvious examples would be Baldur's Gate 3 or Path of Exile 2. I'm not talking about from the quality standpoint. Quality standpoint of these games is astonishing, but I'm talking about quality of communication. Right now I can see only the closure of the forums of World of Tanks and other games, and half-dead Discord server where like only general channel is active and that's all, something like that, nothing more. Next point is the rise of indie developers or small studios and recent failures of other AAA studios to kickstart new live service games and or franchises. Here I'm talking about Project Cold War and the Steel Hunters, which are live service games. For me it feels like every major or not so major studio threw out common sense and forgot that overall it's not the money, not some KPI, it's the player first. It should be player first experience development. If the game has content, I'm talking about like general content, if it made with love, you will have like everything: players, money, KPIs, recognition, influence, etc. Name your thing. But if you will try to implement cancerous, obscure, convoluted and mind-bending three-step ball smack schemes which can only exist in a mobile shit games, this won't come well to the big PC game. It definitely won't work here. Next point, altogether it means that in World of Tanks we have a negative feedback loop. Lack of quality content, lack of content causes decline in player base, less players leads to more fear with creative choices, more restricted creative choices, which leads to development teams having tired hands. Tired hands leads to lesser content quality, and now we are back to square one. And right now I don't even want to start to scratch more targeted points like balance, Arty, maps, etc. It's a subject for a whole another time. And to sum up, fear of the players is leading Wargaming to nowhere. And players do feel this fear. This is important, which leads to misunderstanding of both parties. Like, I'm crying out loud, please Wargaming, do not fear the players, know them, learn them. Players are your best friends, not some abstract KPIs. To overcome this fear, the first step you need to do is extremely simple. Know your players, start communications with them, show them that you care about what they are thinking, without this regular we know, or the list of bugs which some of the bugs which you write at the bottom of the patch notes, like they have years in a backlog. Come on, it's a bad practice, it should not be like that. In the end, let's look at the clear example. You had an argument with a dear person to you, and in the end you need to apologize, or broadly speaking, to fix the relationships. What you will do to fix it? Always starts with the communication. When you want to fix relationships, the first thing you do, you start communicating. So please Wargaming, do not leave players alone, start communicating with them. This is one and first simple thing. Thank you and goodbye. I'm Andrew and see you in the next video.